Okay, good morning, people. Sorry, good afternoon, people. Good morning from London. My name's Mark Bentley. I've been asked by Q8 to do a 30-minute quick teaser on the courses that we're scheduling, which is the Human Intelligence course and Open Source Intelligence course, which we're running later on. I wanted to just talk to you today about what the type of training I do and what I bring to the table. Open sourcing is one of the most important things that we have to learn how to do properly. It's no good just Googling stuff anymore. You can't just go to Google and say, I'll go and have a look. You're really not searching properly. It's like doing a search warrant on a house and just searching the kitchen. You're not looking in other rooms. You're not looking in the attic and the basement, the dark places. And there is a very distinct skill to doing that type of work. With human intelligence and social media intelligence, it is super important to understand how they work. Gone are the days of just saying, I'll go and see if he's on Facebook. There's so many tools that we can use to combat this stuff. There's so many things that we can do to enhance our search techniques, find information. You've got to bear in mind that everything that's been put on the internet, historically, everything is still there. So when you're looking for something that you know is out there and you go to Google and you do a search and you find it's not there, you go, oh, it's not there. It must have been deleted. It must have gone. It's just not true. It is still there. We've just got to know how to find it. And these courses that I'm running for Q8, that's the crux of what we do. We teach you how to go that step further, how to go further down the rabbit hole, how to find more stuff on the internet relating to your target, how to use the right tools. Google isn't the right tools. I'll teach you how to use the right tools. While I talk about tools, as part of the course, you get access to over 1,000 open source tools for OSINT, HUMINT, and SOCMINT. Specifically for social media, specifically for how to search. I teach you how to go dark. So I teach you how to actually go on the internet and nobody can see you, because nothing on the internet is free. Okay, nothing's free. You pay for everything. So you may be listening to this and thinking, well, Google's free. No, it's not. You pay with your data. So when you use Google, Google Chrome, they will come in and have a look at your machine. It's in the terms and conditions that they asked you to read. And they'll come and have a look at your desktop and they'll build up a digital profile on you and stuff. And there's two things that come from this. First is your own personal security, which I teach on the course. I teach how to be secure and be dark and stop this from happening. But secondly, you've got to consider this is also happening to your target. So your target is going and using Google like everybody else does. And Google are coming in and Amazon are coming in and other people, Akai Solutions are coming into the machine, having a read, and then they're recording that elsewhere. Well, where are they held? Can we get access to that? Can we get information on our target that is open source but was private? So the courses teach how to go that step further and just keep going a little bit deeper into the darkness. And I'm not talking about the dark web. I'm not talking about Tor, although I do touch on that very briefly, but we do a specific dark web course with Q8. I talk about just how we can enhance what we're doing. You can't just, there's a couple of things. You can't just think that you know how to search on the internet. There's a very specific tool set of how to do that and the structure of how to do that. And that's what I'll teach on the course. And the other thing is, you've probably, if you haven't been on an open source course, you've been taught by the person next to you when you got to the office and they show you how to do it. And if they've never been taught, then you're taught how they do it. Now, I'm going to show you the experience I've had in the last 38 years of how to do this stuff. So, cybercrime investigation. I've done it for almost 20 years now. Data communications, super important. How we look at our targets and how we look at how they were doing things historically and how they're doing things now. Looking at images. You can track people by images. You can learn so much from images. I teach you how to do that. Looking at metadata in pictures, searching for those images elsewhere. Bearing in mind, every picture that's gone up onto the internet is still there. I'll show you examples of terrorist websites or terrorist Twitter pages that were actually active from beginning to end for like 2 hours 2 years ago. And we'll go and have a look at it. It's still there. It'll always be there. It'll be there till the day you die. And you've got to learn how to find that, how to find something that was deleted 2 years ago and it was only active for 2 hours. If that's there, everything's there. And I show you how to do that. Covert internet investigator, when I was undercover online, and I used to go onto the internet and be completely hidden. That's what I teach you on the course. How to be completely hidden, how to stop the algorithms and the cookies coming in and looking at you. Counterterrorism, we talk about that a little bit. We talk about terrorism, organized crime, drugs, people trafficking, stuff like that. That's my area of expertise. Financial investigation, you may think that there's an element of Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. We talk about that very briefly within the course. We do have a specific course for that, but we also talk about that in the open sourcing. Open sourcing covers everything. Geolocation. So we'll have a look at somebody and see where they are, see where they were when they tweeted something, see where they were geolocation-wise when they were moving, they were in their car, see what speed they were traveling at, see if they were on a bus, on a train, on the underground, disappeared off the network, what kind of phone they've got, what network they're on, just because they put a picture up on Twitter. So the open source course teaches you to just, instead of going so far and then stopping, going that little bit further. So the people that I currently and previously work for, I'm a open source specialist for these and other organizations. And I regularly do training for these. I do training for a lot more than this, but these are the ones that ask me back again and again and again to train up all their officers so that we can get the very best out of searching on the internet. And Q8 course, you know, it's a 2-day course. It's very intense. It's like full on. There's loads of practicals. It's not a point and teach with a PowerPoint. It's quite intensive insofar as practicals and examples. So what you'll do is you will get a link to a Dropbox, and in there you'll have all the resources and the tools and everything. And the beauty of that is that we do that during the course, and examples and exercises. It's all on that link. But what we do is we get you to download that link before the course, and you keep that. So you keep all the tools, you keep all the exercises. So if we're doing an exercise on tracking images, and you found an image that relates to your target and you want to find where else it is, the pictures that I've got that we will train on, you keep those for good. So it means in 6 months' time, if you think, do you know what, it's a bit of a quiet day today, I've forgotten how to do the image stuff, you can dip back in and do it again and have a practice on that. You can inform your colleagues how to do it and stuff. There's on the download link, there's 300 plus tools. If you were to ask me, Mark, is there a tool in open source to do this? I'll say yes, before I've even thought of the tool, because there is one. There's a tool for absolutely everything. So there's tools that you just can't imagine would exist for the internet. I'll show you a tool that I will find out what your network is. If you're my target, I'll find out what cellular network you're on. I'll find out what aerials you use regularly. At night, when your phone is sitting on the nightstand next to your bed and you're asleep, I'll see your habit. I'll see your the human aspect of your digital movement and stuff like that. It's really important to know that we give up everything. So I'm going to stop that happening to you, but I'm going to show you how to get it from your target. So ideally, the people who should attend these webinars, military, government, police, investigators, counterintelligence, intelligence officers. This isn't an exhaustive list. This is just the sort of people who should attend this. And to give you an idea of the course and the content of the course, I have some of the clients that I just showed you on the previous slide come back again year after year after year to train up their new investigators, because they realize that you've just got to keep training and refreshing and training and refreshing, because it's such a huge subject, but it's so important as well. You know, when you're looking at your target and you are trying to work out who he is and what he is, it's an anonymous name on Twitter. Do you really want to know his real name? Do you want to know where he is in your part of the world? Do you want to know what network he's on? Do you want to know how he moves around in that part of the world? What his family structure is, where he lives? This is all on there. Now, we don't put where we live on the internet generally, but our phone geolocation and the data around it and pictures that we take tell the world where we are. You're all on Facebook and Twitter, okay? Everybody listening to this is on Facebook and Twitter, whether you like it or not. And you could say, no, I'm not. Well, yes, you are. I didn't say you opened an account on there. I said you're on there because you've been to a wedding or a barbecue or an event, and you went with friends who are on there, and they took pictures, including you, and they put it on there. They also said that yes to Facebook for the contact list. And in their contact list in their phone is your name, your cell phone number, and your email address. So now the social networking site has that as well. Another technique that I would show you with social networking is how to go and find information on locked accounts, how to download the metadata from the back door of Twitter. I'll show you how to get that so that we can actually geolocate people. There is an exercise within those 2 days where you actually track somebody, and we'll go and have a look to see what people are talking about in Marina Bay today, or in on Singapore Island at the airport, what people are chatting about, where they were yesterday, stuff like that. It's all there. You just got to know how to dig it out. So the sort of areas that we're going to cover: online profiling and interrogation building. That's what I was just talking about. Social network data harvesting. There are tools for every social network platform. So if you think my target is using a social networking platform that we can't get information on, like vContact, well, this course will teach you that that's not strictly true. Device tracking, by the fact that when you use your device, you connect to an aerial, a cell site, wherever it is in the world. And this course will show you how that you connect to the different ones. And we can work out speed, direction, movement, lifestyle, all sorts of stuff. Good digital hygiene and tradecraft. So that's where I'm going to show you how to hide, but how to exploit the other people, your targets and stuff. And I can tell you now, you can work in the tightest security for, let's say you're working in counterterrorism, and you have VPNs, you have virtual machines, you have VMs, you have VPNs running, multiple VPNs on an anonymous internet access point with firewalls in your office. And you go, we're safe. And then you allow Google to come in and start looking at Google. And all I'll ask you is, do you, when you search on the internet in your secure office with all this stuff in place, do you see images on Google when you search on Google? And undoubtedly the answer to that is yes. Otherwise you can't do your job properly. Well, Google come in through pixel beacons and all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to teach you how to go on the internet but be completely hidden. So it's as if you've turned your machine off, but you're looking at the other guy. So you're in a dark corner, nobody can see you. So you're not going to leak any. It's good, good digital hygiene, and it's good security. Searching for data on the deep web, not the dark web, the deep web. So we have the surface web, we have the deep web, and then the dark web. So the surface web is the stuff that you go onto Google and other search engines and go and have a look at stuff. The deep web is the stuff that Google and other search engines don't really go into, but you need to go in there. That's where most of the stuff is. If you've got a bad guy that you're looking at, that's where he is, but Google doesn't look in there. So I'm going to have to show you tools and search engines that will allow that to happen and go in and have a look deeper and darker into the depths. And then, of course, there's the dark web, which is a separate course. But and if you're interested in that, then speak to the guys at Q8 about upcoming dark web courses that I'm doing for them. Historical and deleted data. Nothing is deleted. I'll show you how to find the stuff and all the tools that you need to go and find something that was deleted 10 years ago. One of the exercises I use is I give you a URL of a website that I shut down because it was a fraudulent website in 2012. And it's never existed since. So for 9 years, this has not been live, but I can take you there and show you a fully working copy of it that's still on the internet. Never say never. The one thing that will hinder you in your investigations in trying to identify a target is your imagination. It's literally, it's not the machine, it's not Google, it's not your internet access point, it's your imagination. And what I teach you is a methodology of how to go past that and just keep nibbling away. And when you see something that means nothing to you, that could be the most important thing because it's a little bit of metadata. We're going to have a look at metadata and source code. Now, it's not a technical course. So if you're watching this and you're a bit frightened about, like, I don't really understand about metadata and source code and stuff like that, you don't need to. You just need to know the principle of how to search for it because there are search engines for that. Another thing that I'll do is we talk about the Internet of Things. So there's two types of internet. There's the internet that we know and love, and then there's the Internet of Things. And I'll show you the search engines for that so that you can go and have a look at structure and where an email server is. So you've got your target's email address. I'll show you tools to identify where the server is in the world, where that is held, and see if you can get into it. Or if it's in your jurisdiction of your part of the world, can you do a court order on that and get access to the emails? And because you've got to bear in mind, with open source and the Internet of Things, you've got a target with the Gmail and you go, well, they're in California. No, they're not. One of the biggest servers in your part of the world is in Google servers is in Singapore. It's massive. Go and look it up. So you've got a Gmail account that's held there. It's within your jurisdiction because you're an officer in Singapore. Can you get that data? Well, yes, you can. So you don't have to worry about America. What about the connections through? You've got somebody who's connecting through to vContact in Russia. How do they connect to Russia? Well, I'll show you the cabling and the company in your part of the world that deals with that. And the person you will possibly need to speak to or think about looking at, which has nothing to do with vContact and nothing to do with the network that the person is using in your part of the world, but it handles the data. So we have a look at structure as well. Best practice in intelligence and evidence gathering. So looking at how we want to gather that. Do you want it as an intelligence only? Do you want to convert that into a tangible, evidential thing that you want to take to court or in front of a judge? I'll teach you how to do that in the best way and the tools to do that. Search techniques and awareness, just the actual mental attitude of how to do it, how to look at data, and how to approach an investigation. Browser utilization, covert searching, how to hide and search and still get all the results you want. Utilizing the browser, so actually making the browser search on your behalf without people realizing it. So I'll teach you how to, instead of going and finding an IP address for somebody's website, how the browser, when you go to that website, harvests all this data hidden, makes it look like Google. So that on the control panel at the website for your target, he just sees that a Google spider came in, which happens 15 times a minute. And it was just this time 16 times a minute. And he doesn't notice, but it was you coming in and grabbing all the data out of his website to see where his control panel is, to see who logs in, stuff like that. We'll do those tools. Digital shadows. So you have two things on the internet. Your target is doing, you and I and everybody and your target are doing two things. They have your digital footprint and your digital shadow. They're completely different things. So your digital footprint is what you do. You're on Twitter. You upload a picture because you went out for the weekend to the zoo. That's your digital footprint. Your digital shadow is that the person you went to the zoo with put your picture onto their Facebook page to say they went out with you to the zoo. That's digital shadow. You have no control over that. Also, digital shadow is your target who happens to be a gamer, and his details are published on a Sony or a PlayStation or an Xbox website without him actually knowing, because it's in the terms and conditions. We do have a look at all the terms and conditions and stuff like that. It's really important. Understanding social engineering and using it on the target. So we're the subject of social engineering. Okay. You and I are both victims of social engineering. Well, let's use that to our advantage. Let's use that and find out the information that's been harvested on somebody through social engineering. And social engineering is terms and conditions. That's why nothing's free on the internet. You can sum Facebook up in probably 6 lines of what they do. They want everybody to make friends with each other. There's a marketplace. Link up with people you used to go to school with or old friends, and chat about stuff in a social group. That's about it, really. That's Facebook. Why have they got 200 pages of terms and conditions? Because of social engineering. Because in there, they've hidden things saying, oh, we'll turn on your camera or your microphone without your consent at any time. Are you okay with that? And of course, you said yes, because you agreed with the terms and conditions and the cookies. So there's an exploit there that we can use, and I'll teach you how to do that. Online open and dark markets, tracking and tracing. So we'll have a look at dark markets, not Tor. We'll have a look at markets that are buying and selling stuff, and we'll have a look at crypto and bits and pieces like that. So you'll do live tracking and deep web searching, best tradecraft evidence gathering, best tools for that, building online personas and legends, how to build a legend and trick Facebook and Twitter and other social networking sites without giving away any of your details, but also without the algorithms kicking in. If you just create a Facebook account with no pictures on it and don't feed it with links or things like that, Facebook will pick that up and say, that's not a real one. And after a while, they'll ask you for your email address again. They'll lock you out. I'm going to show you how to create online legends that avoid all that. Photographs that you can use on your social networking site without affecting somebody's human rights or personal rights. So it's 200 plus tools. This is what you'll get. You'll get a link to a Dropbox where you download the tools and keep them forever. Access to practical advice and tutorials and stuff. So also in the Dropbox link will be tutorials and PDFs and documents relating to all the stuff that we talk about. OSINT software. So I'll show you free software. There's no purchase software and stuff like that. I don't do that. Okay, I'll show you software that will either be free or it has a free trial. And I'll show you how, at the end of the free trial, how you can renew the free trial on the same machine so you don't have to pay for it. Send you a cloud link with 1,000 tools on there, my website link as well, glossaries, manuals, everything you need to perform your task properly. Email support and advice. So what you'll be able to do after the course is you can email me at any time and say, Mark, is there a tool for this? Or I attended your training with Q8 and is there a tool for this, a tool for that? How would I get this from this particular social networking site? And you need to understand how to do it properly. The bottom line is you can't just open source anymore. You can't just do stuff anymore. You've got to, and just sort of blindly go on the internet and see what you can find. It doesn't work like that anymore. You know, you can do that you can type in cheap flights to London and on Google, and you'll get the cheap flights to London. Because the way that search engines work is the highest, the people who've paid for advertising or the highest footfall, virtual footfall into a website gets to the top of Google. You're looking for a target that is money laundering, dealing drugs, people trafficking in your part of the world. He's not going to be on the first 10,000 pages of Google. And you don't go past page 3 or 4. How do you cut away all the rubbish and find that person? That's what I'll teach you on the course. Okay. Let me just bring it up. Okay, so the bottom line, guys, you can see the dates behind me. The courses are, sorry, I'm just having a little bit of issue here. Let me just go through. There we go. For some reason, it just, there we go. I'll just go back to, there we are. So please think about subscribing. Think about, speak to Q8 about subscribing to the course. If there's any of these things in the areas here that you need to fine tune or get better at your job at, this is the course. It's only 2 days. It's quite intensive. You will get homework that's voluntary. There's lots of practicals involved in this. There's lots of hands-on stuff. So I don't want to just say, here's a PowerPoint slide, this is how you do it, move on. I'll actually say to you guys, this is the tool, this is how to use it. Now you go and use it. And I bring up on the slide a piece of information. It might be an IP address, it might be a MAC address, it might be a username on a social networking site. And I'll say, and the beauty of the course is I'll say, this is there. So with open sourcing, you're basically searching for stuff you don't know if it exists. With the course, I'll say it does exist. It is there. I need you to find it. And the beauty of that is that by telling you that it is there means that if you can't find it, you've just got to work at it. And then we debrief it and I'll say, right, this is how you should have done it. And this is how you can find this information that you need, this deleted information from 10 years ago. Your target is hiding and he's probably shut off all his social networking sites and stuff like that, shut everything down, and he's now using a crypto chat room like Sessions or something like that, or Telegram. But 3 years ago, he wasn't committing crime. So let's go and do historic searches from 3 years ago and find out everything about him and his family structure and where he lived and what his likes are and who his friends are. And that's what this course will teach you, how to just laterally think everything out. Okay, thank you for listening. I hope that was of interest to you. Please speak to Q8 about it. I'm sure they'll follow up with an email after this presentation. It really is essential to cover all these things now. I've spoken to a number of the people who I've done courses for before, And they've said that, you know, I get emails saying, yeah, thanks for that course that I did a month ago. We caught this guy. We did this. We actually managed to infiltrate this group online that we've been trying to do for a year. And then we do your course and do it within a few weeks. This does happen. Thank you for listening. Have a good rest of your day. And hopefully I'll see you soon on one of the courses. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.